He had the money. He had the cars. He had the skyscraper office with a view nobody else in the city could afford. People called him the Golden Billionaire, the man who won at everything. But here's the truth nobody ever said out loud. Behind all that success, he was completely alone. Every night, after the cameras stopped flashing and the meetings ended, he ate dinner by himself in a silent mansion that felt more like a museum than a home. No laughter. No family. No one to say, "How was your day?" And the crazy part? He didn't become lonely because he had no one. He became lonely because he forgot the one person who once meant everything to him. His first love. The girl who believed in him before the world ever knew his name. And today, she's coming back. With a secret that could break or save him. Before he became the billionaire everyone talked about, he was just a skinny kid with big dreams and empty pockets. And the funny thing is, back then, he was actually happier. Why? Because of her. Her name was Lena. She wasn't rich. She didn't wear fancy clothes. But she had this ability to make the whole world feel lighter. When she laughed, he forgot how hard life was. When she talked about the future, she made it sound like something he could actually reach. Every evening after school, they sat on an old rooftop, sharing cheap snacks and big dreams. He would say, "One day, I'll build something huge. Something nobody can ignore." And she would just smile and say, "I already notice you. Isn't that enough?" She believed in him when no one else did, not his teachers, not his neighbors, not even himself. If he failed, she told him he'd try again. If he cried, she held his hand and said, "You're stronger than this." To him, she wasn't just a girlfriend. She was home. But dreams have a way of testing people. One day, he got an offer, his first big break. A business mentor wanted to train him, give him a shot, take him to another city. It was everything he ever wanted, everything he prayed for. Except it came with one cost. He had to leave her. He told himself it would be temporary. 6 months, he said. Just 6 months to get started. Then I'll come back for you. She tried to smile, but her eyes were already shining with tears. Just don't forget me, she whispered. He promised he wouldn't. But life got busy. Hard. Fast. New people entered his world. New problems. New responsibilities. And slowly, painfully, the calls became shorter. The messages became rarer. And one day, he didn't reply at all. Not because he stopped loving her, but because he thought loving her meant holding her back from the life she deserved. She waited. 4 months. Then years. And eventually, she disappeared from his world, quietly, without blame, without anger. Almost like she knew her chapter in his life was over. Or so he thought. Because what he didn't know, what he couldn't imagine, was that she would one day return. Not as the girl he left behind, but as a woman carrying a secret that would shake his entire world. When he left his small town with one suitcase and a heart full of fear, he thought success would come slowly. But the world had other plans. The moment he stepped into that new city, everything felt bigger, louder, faster. And he had 2 choices, get stronger or get swallowed. So he worked. Not normal work. Not 9 to 5 work. He worked like someone who was running from the ghosts of his past, sleeping on a couch, eating cheap noodles, staying awake until sunrise, building ideas nobody believed in. Day after day, he pushed himself harder. Night after night, he whispered, "Just a little more, just a little more." And slowly, painfully, something amazing happened. The kid nobody noticed turned into the man everyone wanted to meet. First came a small win. A business deal. Then a bigger win. Then headlines. Then investors. Then more headlines. Within a few years, he built a company people said was impossible. Within 10 years, he became one of the youngest billionaires in the country. People clapped for him. People admired him. People said, "Wow, look how far he's come." But nobody knew what he left behind to get there. Every time he opened his phone and saw her old messages, which he never deleted, his chest tightened. But instead of replying, he buried himself in more work. Success first, he told himself. Love later. He bought a penthouse. He bought cars he never drove. He built offices in cities he didn't even visit. He had everything he thought he wanted. But something strange happened once he finally reached the top. It felt quiet. Too quiet. He attended fancy dinners where people laughed too loudly but said nothing real. He had assistants who said, "Yes, sir," but didn't know who he truly was. He had friends who liked his money more than his heart. And every night, when the world finally calmed down, he heard the same painful question echoing in his mind. What's the point of reaching the world if I lost the only person who ever saw me before I became somebody? He told himself the past was gone. He told himself she had moved on. He told himself love was something he didn't need anymore. But destiny doesn't forget unfinished stories. Because while he was busy building his empire, she was getting ready to walk back into his life. With a secret that would change everything. It happened on a day like any other, meetings stacked back to back, reporters waiting outside, assistants running around with tablets and schedules. He was used to chaos. In fact, chaos felt normal to him now. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared him for what was about to happen. He was attending a charity event his company sponsored every year. A simple ribbon-cutting ceremony. Cameras. Smiles. Speeches he didn't feel like giving. He forced a polite grin for the crowd, thinking, let's just get this over with. Then he saw her. At first, he thought his mind was playing tricks. A familiar shape. A familiar walk. A familiar softness in the eyes. It couldn't be. It shouldn't be. But it was. Lena. Standing near the back, quiet, almost hiding from the lights. She wasn't the girl he remembered. She was stronger now, more mature, carrying herself with confidence. But there was also something else in her eyes, something heavy. Something she was holding inside. His heart stopped. Not for a second. For an entire lifetime. He stepped off the stage without thinking. People called his name, cameras flashed, but he didn't hear any of it. He walked toward her slowly, like his legs had forgotten how to move. When she finally looked up, their eyes locked. And just like that, every memory he tried to bury came rushing back. She didn't smile. She didn't reach out. She simply nodded, like two old friends running into each other at a grocery store. "Hello?" she said softly. He wanted to say so many things. "I'm sorry. I miss you. Where have you been? Why now?" But his voice refused to come out. They stepped outside, away from the noise. The cold air between them felt strange, like there was a whole ocean of unspoken words floating in the silence. Lena took a deep breath. "I didn't come to restart anything," she said gently. "I came because you needed to know something." His stomach dropped. "Know what?" he asked, trying to sound calm. She hesitated. For the first time since he saw her, he noticed her hands shaking. "I've been carrying a secret for years," she whispered. "A secret about you and about us." His heart pounded so hard he could hear it. And then she said the words that would flip his entire world upside down. Words he never expected. Words that would force him to face everything he thought he left behind. For a moment, he couldn't breathe. The world around them, cars passing, people talking, cameras clicking, felt like it had faded into one long, quiet echo. It was just him and her, and whatever truth she was about to reveal. Lena looked down, as if choosing her words carefully. "I didn't want to come here," she admitted. "I told myself 1,000 times to forget it. To forget you. But this isn't something I can keep to myself anymore." His voice finally broke free. "Lena, what is it? Please." She lifted her eyes, and he saw it, fear, sadness, and something deeper, almost like love buried under years of silence. "You didn't just leave a girl behind," she whispered. You left a son. The world froze. What? He said, the air punching out of his lungs. A son, she repeated. Your son. He felt dizzy, like the ground moved under his feet. He stepped back, trying to process it, but his mind was spinning too fast. Lena continued, her voice unsteady. I found out after you left. I tried calling, but you were always busy, always unreachable. And then, life got harder. I thought you were gone for good. I didn't want to chase a man who didn't want me anymore. So I raised him alone. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Not even one. She shook her head softly. I'm not here for money. I don't want anything from you. I built my own life. He's not a secret because I'm ashamed. He's a secret because I wanted to protect him from disappointment, from a father who didn't have time for the people he loved. Her voice cracked. And honestly, I didn't think you'd care. Those words stabbed him deeper than anything he'd ever felt. Because she was right. Not about caring, but about the man he used to be. The man who thought success mattered more than love. He ran a shaky hand through his hair. Where is he now? She hesitated, then pulled out a small photo. A boy with his eyes, his smile, even the same messy hair he had at that age. He's 12, she said. Smart. Kind. Everything I hoped he'd be. He stared at the photo, tears forming despite him trying to control them. Lena, why now? Why tell me after all these years? She looked at him with a quiet sadness. Because he's starting to ask questions. And he deserves the truth, even if it breaks both of us. And just like that, his biggest success suddenly felt like his biggest failure. For the first time in years, the billionaire known for never losing control completely broke. His hands shook. His voice cracked. His heart felt like it forgot how to beat. A son. A whole human life he never knew about. A child who grew up without him. He tried to speak, but guilt wrapped around his throat like a rope. Lena, I should have been there, he whispered. She didn't answer. She just looked at him with calm, tired eyes. Eyes that had cried too many nights alone. I know you had your dreams, she said softly. I know life got busy. But he needed a father. And I couldn't give him that. He felt the punch of those words. All the business deals, all the awards, all the applause, none of it meant anything compared to this one truth. He failed the only two people who ever truly cared for him. Does he hate me? He asked. Lena shook her head. No. He doesn't even know you. He only knows that his father is gone. That's the only story I could tell him without breaking his heart. That hurt even more. He stared at the ground, fighting the urge to collapse. All those years he thought he was climbing toward greatness. He had actually been running away from responsibility. I want to meet him, he said finally. Lena stepped back slightly, her expression guarded. It's not that simple. He's not a prize you can claim. He's a child. With feelings. With questions. With fears. I understand, he said quickly. I don't want to take him away. I need to fix this. I need to do something. Lena sighed, her voice trembling. Fixing things isn't always about showing up with money or promises. Sometimes it's about proving you've changed. Showing that this time, you won't disappear when life gets hard. He felt those words hit him like a hammer. For years he thought success was the proof of his worth. Now he realized worth didn't come from money. It came from showing up. Staying. Caring. But how do you earn a place in a child's life you never helped raise? How do you face the past you ran from? How do you repair a heart you broke without even knowing? One thing was clear. He couldn't walk away again. Not from her. Not from his son. Not from the truth. He had spent his life building an empire. Now he had to rebuild something much harder. A family he didn't know he still had. That night, he didn't go to a party. He didn't go to a meeting. He didn't even go home to his giant, empty mansion. He sat in his car for almost an hour, staring at the photo of the boy who had his eyes. His son. A child he never held, never taught, never protected. All his life, he thought becoming rich would fix everything. But wealth couldn't buy back time. It couldn't erase guilt. And it definitely couldn't rebuild trust with a child who didn't even know his name. For the first time in years, he asked himself a question he always avoided. Who am I when the money is gone? The answer scared him. So he made a decision. A real one. Not a business plan. Not a billionaire announcement. But a promise to himself. He was going to change. Truly change. The next morning, he did something shocking, something the world never saw coming. He canceled every meeting for the week. He told his board he needed time. He told his assistants not to schedule anything unless it was an emergency. They panicked, of course. Sir, we have investors waiting. Sir, the public offering. Sir, the merger. He raised a hand and said one simple sentence. For once, business can wait. And it did. He started small. He began volunteering quietly at the same charity Lena worked with. No cameras, no PR team, no fancy speeches. Just him, hands dirty, helping pack food boxes, paint walls, and fix broken shelves. People were shocked. Was this really the billionaire? The man who never slowed down? Yes. Because for the first time in his life, he wasn't trying to impress strangers. He was trying to become someone worthy of being a father. He stopped chasing money and started chasing meaning. He apologized to people he hurt, to employees he ignored, to old friends he pushed away. He reconnected with his roots, visited his hometown, sat on the rooftop where he once dreamed with Lena. He even practiced what he would say if he ever got the chance to meet his son. He rehearsed it over and over, voice cracking each time. Not, I'm rich. Not, I can give you everything. But, I'm sorry. And I want to know you, if you'll let me. This wasn't the billionaire the world knew. This was a man finally facing the truth. A man who realized that the biggest success in life is becoming someone your child can be proud of. And soon, very soon, he would get the chance to prove it. The day came faster than he expected. Lena called him one quiet afternoon. Her voice wasn't angry, just careful. He wants to meet you, she said softly. For a second, he forgot how to breathe. Are you sure? He asked about you again last night, she explained. I didn't tell him everything. Just that you're someone important from my past. He said he wanted to see you for himself. His heart pounded so loud he thought she could hear it over the phone. They agreed to meet at the small community park near her apartment. Nothing fancy, nothing loud. Just a simple place where kids played and parents watched. And when he arrived, he felt more nervous than he had ever felt in his entire billionaire life. No cameras. No investors. No bodyguards. Just a man standing alone, waiting to meet his past and his future at the same time. Lena appeared first. Then a few steps behind her, came the boy. His son. The child looked up with wide, curious eyes, the same eyes he saw in the photo. The same eyes he once had as a boy dreaming on rooftops. The billionaire froze. His throat tightened. This moment, this tiny, simple moment, felt bigger than any business achievement he ever had. Lena nudged the boy gently. Go on, she whispered. Say hello. The boy walked forward slowly, hands in his pockets, nervous but brave. Hi, he said quietly. Hi, the billionaire whispered back, voice trembling. There was silence for a moment. Then the boy asked the question he'd practiced in his head every day since Lena told him the truth. Are you my dad? The billionaire's eyes filled instantly, but he didn't hide it. For the first time in his life, he let himself feel everything. Yes, he said, kneeling down to be at eye level. I'm your dad. And I'm so sorry I wasn't here. The boy looked at him, studying his face, not judging, not angry, just trying to understand. Mom says people make mistakes, the boy said quietly. Do you make a lot of them? The billionaire laughed through his tears. More than I should have. But I want to fix them now. If you'll let me. The boy hesitated, then stepped forward and hugged him. A small, shy hug. But to the billionaire, it felt like the world had finally forgiven him. Lena watched from a few feet away, wiping a tear. In that moment, she knew something had changed, not just for him, but for their son. This wasn't the man who left years ago. This was someone new. Someone who finally understood what really matters. And from that hug, everything began to change. After that day in the park, his life didn't go back to the old way. It changed. Completely. The billionaire who once measured success by money, awards, and power now measured it by presence, love, and trust. He spent mornings helping his son with homework, learning about the little things that really mattered: favorite foods, favorite games, favorite stories. He spent afternoons volunteering quietly at charities, showing that wealth wasn't just about buying things, but about giving time, care, and hope. He repaired relationships he had ignored for years. Friends, family, even old mentors who had once believed in him when no one else did. And slowly, he started building a bond with his son, not by buying his love, but by being there, listening, and proving that he could be relied on. Lena watched him transform, realizing that the man who left was gone. What stood before her now was someone wiser, stronger, and humbler. Someone who understood that true success isn't about what you own, but who you become. He often thought back to the rooftop where they once dreamed together, to the nights when love was simple and life was small. That boy on the rooftop had no idea he was planting the seeds of a life that would eventually shape a man strong enough to face his mistakes. And the lesson hit him every single day. You can chase the world, build an empire, and win fame, but if you forget the people who matter most, it's all meaningless. True wealth is love. True power is presence. True success is making a difference in the lives of those who depend on you. He had learned the hard way, but he had learned well. And in the eyes of his son, he finally saw what he had been missing all along: hope, forgiveness, and a chance to start over. From that day on, he was no longer just a billionaire. He was a father. A man who understood what it meant to care, to give, and to love without conditions. And that, more than any fortune, more than any skyscraper or company, became the richest success of his life. The billionaire who forgot his first love, she came back with a secret. He had the money. He had the cars. He had a skyscraper office with a view nobody else in the city could afford. People called him the Golden Billionaire, the man who won at everything. But here's the truth nobody ever said out loud. Behind all that success, he was completely alone. Every night, after the cameras stopped flashing and the meetings ended, he ate dinner by himself in a silent mansion that felt more like a museum than a home. No laughter. No family. No one to say, "How was your day?" And the crazy part? He didn't become lonely because he had no one. He became lonely because he forgot the one person who once meant everything to him. His first love. The girl who believed in him before the world ever knew his name. Before he became a billionaire, he was just a skinny kid with big dreams and empty pockets. And the funny thing is, back then, he was actually happier. Why? Because of her. Her name was Lena. She wasn't rich. She didn't wear fancy clothes. But she had this ability to make the whole world feel lighter. When she laughed, he forgot how hard life was. When she talked about the future, she made it sound like something he could actually reach. Every evening after school, they sat on an old rooftop, sharing cheap snacks and big dreams. He promised her he'd come back after chasing his dreams. But life got busy. Hard. Fast. And slowly, painfully, he didn't reply anymore. Not because he stopped loving her. He thought loving her meant holding her back from the life she deserved. She waited. Then, eventually, she disappeared from his world, quietly. He left, chasing success. And success found him. Fast. The kid nobody noticed turned into the man everyone wanted to meet. Deals, headlines, investors, billion-dollar empires. People clapped for him. People admired him. People said, "Wow, look how far he's come." But every night, the mansion felt empty. The applause felt hollow. Every victory reminded him of what he lost. Until one day, at a charity event, he saw her. Lena. Stronger, more confident, carrying something in her eyes he couldn't read. "I didn't come to restart anything," she said softly. "I came because you needed to know something. A secret. A life-changing secret. You didn't just leave a girl behind," she whispered. "You left a son." He froze. A son. A child he never knew. A whole life he missed. His chest tightened, his mind raced. All the money, the success, the fame, nothing mattered now. "I want to meet him," he said. Lena hesitated, but finally agreed. The first meeting was terrifying, humbling, emotional. A shy hug. Words of apology. Words of forgiveness. And slowly, he realized something he never understood before. True success isn't money, power, or fame. True success is showing up. Being there. Loving unconditionally. He rebuilt his life, not as a billionaire, but as a father, as a man who finally understood the value of presence, love, and responsibility. He volunteered, repaired relationships, and spent real time with his son. He learned the richest wealth in life isn't in bank accounts, it's in hearts. He had everything the world admired. And now, finally, he had what truly mattered. Love. Family. Redemption. And in that, he became the richest man alive.